2022美国中期选举进入最后阶段，选情进入白热化，请关注这些亚太裔候选人，积极投票，用我们手中选票发出我们的声音。请关注休斯顿唯一的华裔德州众议员WU吴元之竞选连任德州众议员。请关注福遍郡华裔律师Daniel 竞选德州众议员。请关注福遍郡第一位亚裔郡长KP 竞选连任福遍郡郡长。请福遍郡Brazoria郡的选民关注，德州教育委员会的候选人Dr. Hochman。请休斯顿中国城附近的选民关注 Cagle 竞选连任哈里斯郡第四区的财政专员。2022美国中期选举进入最后阶段，选情进入白热化，请关注这些亚太裔候选人，积极投票，用我们手中选票发出我们的声音。Please re-elect WU for Texas State Representative District 137， 请投票支持吴元之竞选连任德州众议员。
大家好，我是吴元之，我是 Houston 的州议员。Hey everybody, my name is Gene Wu, and I am a state representative in Houston, and I've had the privilege of representing Southwest Houston and the Chinatown area for 10 years now. And in that time, we have seen the community grow immensely. The Asian community is now the fastest growing population in the entire state of Texas. And with this growth comes new political power. And this political power is more important than ever because in the last few years, we have seen unprecedented rise in anti-Asian and anti-Chinese hatred. It's not just people saying mean things, it's people being spit on, it's bricks being thrown through windows, it's people being attacked and even killed. We've seen this across the nation. And this is not something that's just going to go away. This is a virus and a disease that is coursing through our nation. And the way we stand up against it is by building power and demanding change from our government and demanding that our government stand with us. We have seen this in our own state. Look at what happened in the Sam's Club in Odessa, Texas. A man walked into a Sam's Club with a knife and found a Burmese family that he thought was Chinese and began stabbing the father, the children, and all the while shouting anti-Chinese things and shouting things that he heard on TV from our public leaders. And what our public leaders say have a real impact on the safety of our families. We have heard public leaders say that Chinese people should be banned from attending public universities. We have heard them say that Chinese people are spies and traitors. And every time these kind of things happen, our community and our families are put in danger. A target is put on their backs when we're ridiculed and made the butt of jokes. And we need to use our political power to stand up to this, to push back against it. But political power doesn't come from just having lots of people. Political power comes when people vote. And that's what I need you to do. I need you to go out and vote and express the power of our community to demand change. But we can't just vote. We have to vote for people who support us. The people like Democrats like myself who have stood with the community every step of the way. Every time our community was attacked, Democratic leaders around the nation and in the state stood up and opposed the hatred that was sent our way. And we must not only support the people who who stand with us, but we must oppose the leaders who stand against us. The leaders who mock us, the leaders who put a target on our backs, and the people who continue to perpetuate the hatred and the stereotypes against our community. This November, we're fighting for political power for our community, but we're also fighting for our survival. This is a future that we have to be careful of. We want to build a world for our children that makes them feel wanted and cared for and protected. This November, in this election cycle, I encourage you to go vote. But I encourage you to go vote for Democrats up and down the ballot, Democrats who have stood with us every step of the way. 谢谢。
Please re-elect Jin Wu for Texas State Representative, District 137. 请投票支持吴元之竞选连任德州众议员。请投票给竞选连任的福遍郡郡长 KP George。
So much. I am KP George of Hochman County, and it's an honor to communicate with you. It's an honor to be with this young lady here, and of course, last 4 years I'm serving our diverse community in Hochman County. I'm up for re-election, and we continue our good work next 4 years. I need your help. Early voting start on October 24th to November 4th, and election day is November 8th. Please go and exercise your right. If you want any more information, go to kpgeorge.com. Thank you.
请投票给竞选连任的福遍郡郡长 KP George。
Fort Bend County leads the nation in public safety. Under the leadership of County Judge KP George, Sugar Land became the second safest mid-sized city in America, while Missouri City, Katy, and Fulshire are now among the top 10 safest cities in all of Texas. Just take it from KP's Republican opponent.
Fort Bend County is one of the safest counties in the state of Texas, if not the country.
Thanks, Trevor. For a Fort Bend County that remains safe, re-elect KP George.
请投票给竞选连任的福遍郡郡长 KP George。
Hello, I am KP George, your Fort Bend County Judge. Welcome to your Fort Bend County, where almost 900,000 people call home.
Fort Bend has a long, richly varied history and an exceedingly bright future as it continues to build on the foundations established by the original settlers of Texas. Fort Bend County is among the fastest growing counties in the United States, currently with projections estimated to exceed 1 million residents by 2027. One of the richest counties in Texas, ranking number 2 in the state amongst wealthy households with a median household income of over $97,000. Fort Bend is an exceptional place, with its diverse cultures, cities, people, and lifestyles, with an equal distribution of the nation's 4 major ethnic groups, making Fort Bend the most diverse county in Texas and the third most diverse in the nation. It's been over 2 years since the first positive case of COVID-19 in Texas was reported in Fort Bend County. Yet despite the pandemic, residents have emerged stronger and united together by their passion for their county. Nearly 4 in 5 residents are fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and Fort Bend ranks among the top 50 counties of fully vaccinated residents with a population of over 500,000. Fort Bend County Judge George and the Commissioner's Court engaged its vast network of nonprofit partners, local chambers, community leaders, and direct constituents' feedback to provide input and guidance on the specific needs of the community and set out to provide a strong and equitable recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. This includes assisting local governments and funding school districts for COVID unbudgeted expenses such as distance learning, laptops and network upgrades, uncompensated care for hospitals and medical clinics, transportation, and program supplies for nonprofit organizations. The pandemic's impact on the small business community has been front and center. County Judge KP George and the Commissioner's Court initiated grants to help support area business owners, allocating more money for small business relief than any county in the greater Houston region. Fort Bend County provided the small business grant $51 million to aid operations, providing emergency assistance to over 2,600 businesses, approximately $14 million for job creation and retention, and roughly $11 million was provided for lease and mortgage payments to keep the doors open for small businesses.
Fort Bend County programs and the initiatives that they created for small business owners were just incredible compared to what I saw other Code Ninjas owners receive from their own counties. So we're extremely thankful for everything that Fort Bend County has done for us.
Over $50 million has been distributed to Fort Bend County's mortgage, rental, and utility grants, preventing rental debt, eviction, and foreclosure for thousands of residents. Helping our residents who are in need will always be a top priority of Judge KP George. Additionally, the grant program has provided stability and security to landlords and property managers. To date, over 800 landlords and property managers have been assisted. All of our residents are important, from the youngest to the oldest. In the summer of 2021, 250 youth participated in the county's Summer Youth Employment Program. Students helped to decrease backlogs caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and they were given an opportunity to work in county government, gain valuable work experience, and income. Fort Bend County is 185 years old. With a storied history and continued growth, it takes targeted and strategic planning to keep our infrastructure sound and modern. Mobility projects include improvements to roadway intersections that will provide relief from traffic congestion to motorists and repairs to existing roads and bridges. One of the largest projects involves State Highway 99 between I-10 to 1093. The county is focused on getting the frontage roads constructed adjacent to the 99 corridors to improve the congestion in that area. Additional infrastructure projects include drainage improvements to assist in reducing flood threats, including Flatbank Creek and Oyster Creek erosion repair. Where economic development takes place and thrives, investments in infrastructure lays the groundwork for improved community facilities, structures, and economic growth. Public spaces have become vital lifelines during the pandemic. Parks and green spaces provide important physical and mental health benefits. 24 projects are on the list for the Parks Bond, designing new facilities that communities can enjoy and maintaining existing structures. One of Fort Bend County's first public parks, Kitty Hollow Park, is set for extensive expansion improvements, and the recently opened South Post Oak Sportsplex underwent a $5.4 million expansion project. Fort Bend County hasn't slowed down as the economy continues to thrive. Over 13,000 new jobs were added in the last year, with logistics and supply chain, corporate office, research and development, and food manufacturing showing the largest growth. Credo Packaging and Corporate and Bluebonnet Nutrition recently announced expansion projects. Together, These expansion projects account for over $27 million in capital investment in the Sugar Land Business Park and add 192 new jobs to the county's growing workforce, retaining almost 700 jobs. Fort Bend County has also experienced a record year in the real estate market. The 2021 tax year saw a 21% increase in new construction and added over 10,000 new construction properties. Commercial real estate growth has contributed to a better-than-expected recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The commercial retail market increased and added over 250 new construction properties for 2022, proving once again that Fort Bend County continues to be among the fastest-growing counties in the state. In 2022, the Fort Bend Information Technology Department enhanced its network architecture, implemented new systems and applications, and ensured the security of the county's information assets. Additionally, the installation of the countywide emergency network infrastructure monitoring system is set to go live to monitor simple traffic issues or a flooding event where we need to close a road at a moment's notice. Public safety and justice matter for economic growth and vitality. Improving public safety reduces costs and makes communities more attractive for businesses. To strengthen peace officers' performance, accountability, and transparency, County Judge George and the county commissioners teamed with Axon Enterprises to supply hundreds of body cams to peace officers across the county, in addition to fleet cameras for vehicles and new tasers. Fort Bend County remains one of the safest counties in overall crime rates per capita among the Houston metropolitan area counties. As head of the Office of Emergency Management, Judge George takes a leadership role in all areas of the county's emergency management plan, including mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. With a trained staff, the objective of these 4 mission areas is to ensure that our community is ready before, during, and after a natural disaster.
First thing I want to definitely, between you and I, putting together this wonderful building that we're going to be working in. The new Operations Center, Emergency Operations Center, is a staple point for our jurisdiction and our county. It's so important for our county to have a building like this so that we can communicate with our partners, our jurisdictions, our cities, our fire departments, the police departments, the sheriff, everybody.
Despite the challenges the pandemic created, we maintain the same level of county services while finding creative solutions to connect with residents. Judge George is committed to serving the people of Fort Bend County. Under his leadership, there have been many accomplishments. Approved through the Commissioner's Court, area nonprofits were granted over $11 million in funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. Nonprofit recipients were able to use the grant money to provide emergency food assistance, long-term shelter care, revenue replacement, technology access, after-school programs, job training, and more. To further assist residents with COVID-19 recovery, Judge George hosted the Fort Bend Grant Expo, where over 1,500 residents received on-the-spot assistance with emergency rental, mortgage, utility, and small business grants, and child care assistance. The Office of Fort Bend County Judge George offers support year-round. In December, he brought holiday cheer to more than 1,500 area children by hosting a holiday toy drive along with the Department of Social Services. Having a passion for working with our Fort Bend County youth, Judge George does so through a variety of programs, including the Youth Leadership Program and the Street Grace Youth Leadership Academy. Fort Bend County has strengthened its commitments to diversity and inclusion by creating the Diversity Over Division Initiative in partnership with the University of Houston, hosting the inaugural Juneteenth celebration and Martin Luther King Jr. Essay Contest, Hispanic Heritage Day, and the first Asian American Pacific Islander and Hindu Diwali festivals. Fort Bend has a lot to celebrate in a year of accomplishments. We are looking forward to great things to come in the year ahead.
And this is Fort Bend County's future. The best is yet to come. And my goal is to make Fort Bend County a better place for us, our children, and generations to come.
请投票给竞选连任的福遍郡郡长 KP George。 Please vote for Dr. Dan Hochman for Texas State Board of Education, District 7.
Hello, my name is Dr. Dan Hochman, and I'm running for State Board of Education in District 7. I am a 25-year veteran teacher, I'm a scientist, and most importantly, I'm a parent of a public high school student myself. I have a master's degree from University of Maryland in environmental science. I have a master's degree from University of Houston in secondary science education. And I have a PhD in environmental toxicology and biomedical research from University of Texas. I also am the recipient of only one of 10 fellowships to Rice University for 3 years to study cultural inclusion in STEM classrooms to try to increase serving minority populations in science, technology, engineering, and math. And I recently received an ExxonMobil scholarship to help write curriculum for the next generation science standards that Texas is beginning to adopt. The State Board of Education, District 7, includes Galveston County, Brazoria County, Fort Bend County, Jefferson County, Hardin County, Jasper County, Tyler, Chambers, Liberty, St. Augustine counties. It's a wide area, and I hope for your support. The State Board of Education is extremely important, more so than people understand, because we designed the curriculum and standards from K through 12 for the entire state of Texas. We also adopt textbooks and choose what textbook languages will be included. We also manage the Texas Permanent School Fund, which is $47 billion. That is a big responsibility. And that fund is used for special programs as dictated by the law, as well as to back bonds of school districts to keep their AAA rating and provide a very low interest rate. And last but not least, the Texas Board of Education approves and disapproves of charter school applications. Unfortunately, my opponent, Julie Pickren, has never set foot in a classroom in her life, and her own children go to private school. She has no skin in the game, as we say. Her goal is to dismantle public education and replace it with private religious institutions and charter schools. This is literally stealing taxpayer dollars, because taxpayer property funds are supposed to go to public schools. But when they are funneled away from public schools to go to charter schools, they lose that funding. Especially in rural districts and underserved districts where there are no charter schools and there are no private school options, those people are sending their taxpayer dollars to richer, more urban areas where the parents can already afford to send their kids to private school. This is completely unfair. Also, my opponent would like to see the history standards rewritten in order to include or not include certain language that changes the history of the United States and changes the viewpoint so it is culturally non-inclusive. I am completely opposed to this. In addition, Texas has yet to adopt the next generation science standards that have been around for 13 years. The social studies standards are over a decade old. Our students are falling behind other states and will not be able to compete, especially if my opponent gets on this seat. My campaign website is Hochman for FORSBOE.com, and you can read there more about my positions and possibly send me a little bit of support, of financial support, to get me through the end of this election. Early voting began Monday, October 24th and runs through November 4th, and Election Day is November 8th. Thank you so much for your attention and your support, and I look forward to serving you on the State Board of Education.
Please vote for Dr. Dan Hochman for Texas State Board of Education, District 7. Please vote for Dr. Dan Hochman for Texas State Board of Education, District 7.